do some. Oh, ooh. Of course, it would help out if I turn the thing on. And see. What I do is I attempt to, when I'm talking, I can hear myself in the headphone, and it's a bit distracting, so I turn it down. Okay, I wanted this on 3. Okay. Put me on 3 and put this on 1. There we go. We got it. I've been switching around with this thing for the last 2 hours, and I had it right, and then I go on the air and I screw it all up. But anyway, this is the Saturday MURT-a-thon, and this is the Saturday MURT70THON. This is the first day of my venture into the new decade. So, you're listening to a 70-year-old fart ramble on for the next however long I stay on the air. And not a whole heck of a lot going on. The scammers are all putting up recycled stuff that has gone back decades. Our favorite scammer of all is presumed dead. Nobody's seen or heard of this guy in God knows how long. So the latest on Timmy is he is missing and presumed dead. And nobody seems to be willing to prove otherwise. And I've had people come in and make comments on there that they don't need to prove that he's alive. Yeah, I said fine. Don't prove he's alive. As far as I'm concerned, he's deader than a doornail. Because we haven't heard a thing out of him. He hasn't done a live stream, hasn't even seen current images of him. All we see are stuff that was made months ago. And in his example, something that I don't understand is this came up on several accounts. And that is that a death threat has been made against Timothy Charles Homeseth and the President of the United States. Now, this little gem, let me, no, I hit the wrong button. It's too close to another function. Anyway, this little gem was put up. Okay, position. Okay, because what I want to do is I want to try and bring something up here. Now, if you notice, this post was made by the High Command, and it's dated 9:24 p.m. October 8th, 2020, which is 2 days ago. Now, nobody has contacted the Secret Service except me. I've done so on Twitter, and I've done so over the phone. And this might be why Timmy's missing, because since there were death threats made against Timothy Holmseth, somebody may have gone through on their threat, and Tim Holmseth is no longer with us. Now, the interesting thing about this particular death threat that was posted on the 8th is this is not the first time we've seen this. Now, you will note that there is a link there for Timmy's blog. So, look at the date. You go to the headline on timothycharleshomseth.com, you will note that this was written on June 19th, 2020. Now, this is October 10th, 2020. So you go July, August, September, October. We are closing in on 4 months that a death threat against the President of the United States and his family has not been reported to law enforcement. And the death threat alleged to be against Tim Holmseth was not reported to the government. It was not reported to any local, county, or state, or federal law enforcement agency. The FBI hasn't heard a thing about this. The Secret Service hasn't heard a thing about this. And any local law enforcement agency has not heard about this. So he has decided, for whatever reason, not to report this incident. And he has also not reported it to the PPTF or any of that. Oh, thank you, Carol. Appreciate that. So basically what we have here is another lie. They continue to lie. Now, Timothy Charles Holmseth is a fugitive from justice. There is a $5,000 reward from a private Facebook account for his arrest. They're not asking for conviction. They're asking for arrest. That's the easiest $5,000 anybody can make, provided that Timothy Charles Holmseth is not dead. Well, task force, you're just the person that needs to come in here. Why hasn't this been reported to the Secret Service? This death threat was made by Tim Holmseth on June 19th, 2020. This is October 10th, 2020. The Secret Service has not heard a thing about this. The FBI has not heard a thing about this, which is one of the questions I asked when I went to Minneapolis. No law enforcement agency in the state of Minnesota has heard about this. No law enforcement agency in the state of Wisconsin has heard about this. Nobody has heard about this. This is a threat against the most powerful man in the world, and nobody's heard about it. Now, task force, why is that? If this is so damn important, and you're a big supporter of Donald Trump, why hasn't Donald Trump heard about this threat? You know, you're in here, answer the question. And task force has not done anything. All I say is, ha ha, which means the task force is admitting that this is a hoax, which I knew it was in the beginning. And another question to ask here is, why hasn't there been a proof of life of Tim Holmseth? Why is Tim Holmseth suddenly off the air? He has not done a live stream. He has not done a YouTube. He's done nothing. He's vanished. Well, I reported it. I called Orlando field office. I called the Fort Lauderdale field office because the accusation was directed down there. And I also called Washington, D.C. And they said there is no threat against President Trump. We haven't heard anything of it. Now, so, well, you're hearing it now. I say, you know, I emailed them the material. So they have the threat that was made on the high command and on Timothy Charles Holmseth's blog. So Timothy Holmseth, if he's alive, he can talk to the Secret Service and task force. You know, I don't know why you bother to come in here, because you erase your posts the minute you make them. And I guess you're too scared for your post to remain on this blog, which is fine. You know, I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. But, you know, this is where we're at. These people make these outlandish claims, and they don't back them up. And the stupid people that follow them, they say, oh, yeah, here's our money, 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 money. Keep bringing this stuff to us. We'll send you this money. Because that's all they're doing this for, is money. Well, actually, I call them the turd fart, but that's fine. No, I'm not. I don't know who's behind the TH arrest account. Let's see. Arrest TH account. Thanks for telling me about that. I'm going to be sure to, let me bring that up. Because, if it's one I haven't heard of, I can follow it. You know, task force is giving me information I didn't know about. Let me get this account up. Let's see. Okay, I got to do a search. Okay, let's see. We got at ARRESTTH. See what we get. Oh, we're following each other already. So that's fine. It'd be interesting. I'm following myself according to her. And let's see. Operation Expose and Apprehend. Let's see what's going on here. Anything? Let's see. They announced my MURT70THON. More details coming soon about FBI investigation into Holmseth and his girlfriend, which is probably true, since I did report to the FBI the threat against. So I don't know who started this, but yeah. In case anybody's interested in following this account, I'm going to link it into the room. Thanks, Task Force, for reminding me this account exists. I would highly recommend anybody that has not done so to follow that account. Let's see, right now, 4 followers. I guess, yeah, we ought to start this, have everybody start following here. We have 4 followers. We probably should have more there. And no, I don't live in Panama City, Florida. I don't know who the hell lives down there. But looks like it's a new account. So everybody follow. It's at ArrestTH on Twitter. You can look at the link I posted in the room. I'll put it in the description so that you're able to follow the account. Because, 77 are following this Twitter account, so we might as well get more of them. Now, while I'm in Twitter, let me see what's going on. Let's see. Yep. Okay. But, I just find it kind of funny. Well, I'll tell you what, turd farce. If you think it's defamatory, sue me. I challenge you. I've challenged you before. Sue me. You're a rich real estate broker. You can afford to sue people. Give it your best shot. But discovery's a bitch. In order to sue me, you have to provide an address for Timothy Charles Holmseth. And it's one that's verifiable. You just can't go suing on behalf of somebody. He since he's the one that's defamed, he has to do the suing. And I don't know how a dead guy goes about suing somebody. So that ought to be a neat trick. That's one way we can find out Tim Holmseth is alive if he sues me. Because he has to provide a verifiable address with the court. If he doesn't, the lawsuit's not valid. Go for it. I don't tell people what to do, Task Force. We have a First Amendment right in this country, and it's kind of hard to defame a dead guy. And from what I've read, Wild Bill is not defaming Tim. He's telling the truth. You know, Tim can get on the air and defend himself. He doesn't have to hide under the skirt of a fat woman. You know, have him get out there and defend himself. He won't do it because he's not alive. And there goes another. Task Force deletes it, of course. Always does. Well, the turd fart likes to come in here and troll. She'll post something and then she deletes it. You know, same old, same old. Reminds me of somebody over on Twitter that used to do that. I mean, this Twitter account would post something on Twitter and then poof, off it goes. Yeah, it's public record. Anybody can look up, you know, the court records are all over the place. So. You know, and Tim Homseth has lost every lawsuit that he's filed. He lost the lawsuit against me. So, thank you, fireman. Appreciate that. So he's free to do it again. Now, moving on. There was a rather interesting case in the news. This woman up in Idaho had the bright idea of kidnapping her son and taking the kid to Oregon. Yeah, Task Force, what is this thing with you and Walmart? I have. Where do you think I got the money from to go on the trip? Did you ever think about that? Maybe I took your advice, went to Walmart, worked for Walmart for a few years, or for a few months to save up the money to go to on my little sightseeing trip. You know, maybe that's how I got the money, is I actually worked for Walmart. And I saved up the money, took a leave of absence from Walmart, and went north. So thank you for that advice. You know, maybe Task Force is the one that financed my trip to Wisconsin and Wisconsin and Minnesota by suggesting I go to work for Walmart. So I went to work for Walmart. I'm certainly not making any money on my doing Patreon. That seems to be a trick that a dead Tim Homseth is capable of. And Task Fart is asking for Alexandra. I guess she's got a crush on Alexandra. I don't know where she is, actually. I haven't talked to her lately. You know, maybe she's out making a living doing a job, unlike the turd fart. And all of that went away. Anyway, getting away from the turd fart for a minute. So we got this genius that went to Oregon, basically kidnapping her child, and she got caught and was immediately released for the simple reason that Utah did not put out a national warrant. It's a statewide warrant. And so on a technicality, they had to... Boy, these people are deleting these damn things and I don't get a chance to read them. Oh well. But the state, or Oregon, had no choice but to let the woman out, the two of them as a matter of fact, because of the fact that it was a statewide warrant. There's no extradition on a statewide warrant, so they cut her loose. Now, if she goes back into the state of Utah and the state of Utah finds her, she will be arrested. If she hadn't been arrested yet, because I don't have any current information on this case. But, you know, for right now, this woman's free to spew whatever nonsense she's spewing on her social media accounts. I think there's a couple tapes out there where she's babbled along about stuff that's simply not true, and eventually that'll all catch up to her. And of course, this was filed October 2nd, which is, we're about a week into this. And these are the charges. So, so you got this woman running around kidnapping her own son, and it's come to the attention of the court that this woman abused the child. And typical woman that has her kid taken away, she turns around and accuses the father of falsely accuses the father of being a pedophile. No proof, no court paperwork, nothing. She just babbles along, and the funny thing about the YouTube is she flashes a court document and immediately takes it down so he can't read it. Timmy versus Kimmy, and Timmy's gonna lose. He's already lost because he's on the run and he's probably died by now. As far as I'm concerned, Timmy's over with because he's dead. Now, this is the arrest warrant that was issued. This supersedes the one that was issued prior to it. It's now a felony warrant. Custodial interference across state lines. And whose name comes out on all of this but Kirk Pendergrass and Tim Holmseth? So that means that there may be yet another one of these kidnapping cases where Task Force, Field McConnell, Tim Holmseth, and Kirk Pendergrass are right smack in the middle of this stuff. Now, there is something in the court paperwork, there was a statement that they were given paperwork, the person supervising the supervised visit was given a piece of paper saying that the father was under arrest by the United States Marshals and custody was to be remanded to their mother. And this was something by the Utah Commonwealth Court or something like that. And it turns out that the court does not exist. Yeah, he probably was a fireman. I wish that Turd Fart would leave her post up long enough for me to read it, because I have to keep going back through my DVR to see what all this crap is that she wrote. And it's usually just the same thing anyway. Kind of weird why people do that. For some reason, they don't want their post to remain online for more than a second or two. I think they're afraid of being sued. But, again, there's a record function on the software that I use on this live stream, and it records everything. And I just record everything that goes on here. And I just go back through and I see what Task Force has said. I didn't know that Turd Fart had a mind. I thought it was just a turd fart that knows how to type. But let's see, where am I? But anyway, so the state has a arrest warrant. For not only the biological mother of the child arrest, but for the dumb idiot that helped her pull this stunt. So this other Q nut is going to go down, for this, as well as the mother. And it's like what's been reported. There is a $5,000 reward for just the arrest of Timothy Holmseth. He doesn't even have to be, he doesn't even have to be arrested. He just has to be, or he doesn't have to be convicted. All he has to be is turned in and arrested. That's it. Well, if she has, it's going to have to be what people aren't looking, because there's people, as much as possible, there's about a dozen people now scoping out that UPS store for either Timothy Holmseth or those suspected of picking up his mail for him, and that would include Randy. You know, and it's not my doing. These people are doing this on their own, because I guess these people want $5,000. You know, that's an easy $5,000. All you do is you see Timmy, you pick up the phone, call the cops, and, you know, demonstrate that you're the one that called the cops, and whoever is behind the account will send you $5,000. You know, easy money. You know, who couldn't use $5,000 right now? So there's your chance there, folks. You make $5,000. There's a car he's driving. Oops. Yeah, so just, you know, report that. That's his car that he's driving. So all you gotta do is pick up the phone, give them a call, say, hey, I know where the dude is at. If he's still alive, that is. I don't know at this point if you were to provide information to the number and it turns out that he's dead, if you would get any reward. But for now, this is what I understand. And this particular poster, I don't think has the number of the Facebook site, but it's out there. And so I may, during the live stream, find it. But, you know, so there you go. You make more. You could do that. I have no idea, turd fart, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you. All I know is there's a number out there for his reward, you know, for turning Tim in, and it happens to be legal. I've checked with law enforcement on it, and they said that since Tim Holmseth has an arrest warrant, a private offer of a $5,000 reward is entirely legal. And I found that out from the East Grand Forks Police Department, of all people. And I found it out from the city where Tim used to live at. So, you know, it's perfectly legal. Yeah, as long as somebody has a criminal warrant for their arrest, it's perfectly legal to offer a reward for his arrest. You know, what do you think Crime Line is? They're not a law enforcement agency. They're a private institution that's put there to try and find people that are on the loose. You know, the turd fart should be more interested in finding out if Tim Holmseth is dead or alive rather than find out who's behind a phone number. I suppose if you sued the Facebook account, you could find that out. So go sue the Facebook account rather than talking to me, because number one, I don't have that information. Number two, if I had that information, I would not give it to you. I have no idea, turd fart. Why don't you find that out? You know, you can call, you can go to court, you can get a subpoena and get that information. You're not going to get it in here. I don't know. Let's see, turd fart. You were the one that posted my contact information. You know, so it seems funny that you got your panties in a wad because of Timothy Turd. You go around doxing people. So yeah. Turd Fart is very paranoid. Because when Turd Fart gets challenges, she does things like put up cartoons and defamatory things rather than answer any questions. I've asked the Turd Fart why the death threat against excuse me, everybody. I don't know if they did or not, turd fart, because they're law enforcement. So let's see Tammy call law enforcement. And I'm buffering. Yeah. But task force is yet to answer the question, why hasn't this threat been reported to the Secret Service? Why hasn't this threat been reported to the FBI? Why hasn't this threat been reported to the East Grand Forks Police Department, Polk County Sheriff's Department, State of Wisconsin? Nobody has gotten a report about this threat except from me. Now, can you explain that, turd fart? I'd very much like to know that. And turd fart deleted everything again. I love it. Kind of shows you who's scared and who's not scared, because she deletes all her posts. It's interesting. And let's see, let me do something as a public service here. Indulge me for a minute, I gotta find this. Oh, they did it again. Okay, yesterday I pinned this post to my... What I'm doing right now, I'm going to make a screenshot of it and put it in here so that it is on the screen. And then I'm also going to put up the link to the tweet so that everybody can share it. Because it's not getting much attention right now. I think 4 people have retweeted it. Well, what you can do is you can write secretservice.gov, and there's instructions there on how to report these things. I'd think of 100 people, or even 1,000 people, to report this incident. It would force the Secret Service to investigate it, and if it turns out to be a hoax, the world would know about it. But this is the tweet that I made. And I'm going to put the link in the room, and when I edit the video later tonight, I will put these links in the description so that you can call the government and report this death threat. Now that's the tweet, and that's the number, and that's where you will find the pinned tweet on my account. And let me see, I'm going to go in here because I've got I'm looking down through my files here to see if I can find that, because I forgot what I put on there for a... Alright, let me do it this way. Alright, you're on the wrong side of the... Timmy is over the target. Actually, I think Timmy is 6 feet under. You know, so Timmy's not over the target, and Timmy is the target. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring up where I put oh well, let me do it this way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Yeah. Timmy is pushing Davies or he's fish food, one or the other. All right. Okay, folks, this is the number of the Secret Service in Washington, D.C. So you can call Washington, D.C. and give them the information on the death threat that was supposedly made against the President of the United States and Timothy Charles Homseth on June 20th, or June 19th, 2020. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to okay, now Secret Service in Minneapolis is at 110 South 4th Street. And let's see, what is their telephone number? Okay. The telephone number for the Secret Service in Minneapolis is 612, where's my dash? 348 dash 1800. Okay, this is the number for the Secret Service in Minnesota. So you can call Washington, D.C. and give them the information on this threat against Timothy Charles Homseth, or you can call the Secret Service in Minneapolis and give them the address. And I would challenge everybody who views this video, either live or recorded, to call these numbers, because it's very important that if there is a threat of any kind made against the United States, the president, or any government official, it has to be reported. Now, I don't understand why the Turd Force has not reported this. I don't understand why the Fart Command has not reported this. I don't know why Tim Homseth, while he was still alive, did not report this. It simply has not been reported. So they need to report this. And if Tim ain't going to do it, and if Randy's not going to do it, and if Kirk's not going to do it, we are going to have to do it. Apparently, these people don't care if President Trump lives or dies. You know, they're not reporting a death threat of the President of the United States. Why is that? There's one logical answer, of course, and that is that it is a lie and it is a hoax perpetrated by Homseth once again for attention. It is not the truth. It's not a fact. It is fake news. It's propaganda. And it's only there to generate money for whoever owns TimothyCharlesHomseth.com. And we all know who that is because she's admitted it. And here's the response from Task Force. Task Force will not answer the question. Task Force refuses to answer the question. Task Force simply types alcoholic-induced crap. So Task Force, by her own actions, has proved my point that this is and was a hoax, and that every single solitary thing that is posted on Timmy's, or it's not even Timmy's blog, the TCH blog, is a lie, which everybody knew anyway. You know, Timmy is a pathological liar. Randy is a pathological liar. Trace is a pathological liar. They're all pathological liars, and they're doing it for money. I don't know how they, they must have a way that they split it up. But that's all this is these people are liars. That's weird. She must have a command string, and she just goes Control V. Oh, is that what you're following, Task Force? Is Shira law? You know, you finally admitted that you're following Shira law? Because that's exactly what you're doing. The demands you make on your Facebook page, on your account, what Timmy demands, that's Shira law. You know, you ought to read what Shira law is since you're so big on it. Because you're doing it. You know, that's what's funny about all this. These people don't realize that they are doing Shira law, that they are practicing Shira law. That's funny. Well, at least she's not deleting that. But notice, folks, that she is not answering the question. She is not stating why she has not reported the death threat to the United States government, to the Secret Service, to the FBI. I've been on the air now 45 minutes, and she has not answered the question. That's kind of interesting. You know, this is the thing. I answer questions. I've had these farts ask me questions, and I answer them. You know, I may not give them the answer they want, but I answer their questions. And all Turd Fart does is post gibberish like this one that just came up. Well, Task Force, you know all about it because this is exactly what you're practicing. You practice Shira law. Tim used to practice it. Randy practiced it. You know, you guys all practice Shira law. You know, and you're not answering. You're deflecting again. You refuse to answer the question. Why haven't you reported the death threat to the FBI, to the Secret Service, to the President of the United States? Tim claims to be third in line to the President of the United States, and the President of the United States has not gotten a report about this. Nobody has. Because there was no death threat. This is all made up. You're accusing people of things they did not say or do again. Yeah, of course it's bullshit. It's a scam. You know, the Turd Force and Timothy Homseth and Randy and all these other people are scamming the United States citizens out of their money with these Q crap blogs and Facebook accounts and everything else. And that's another thing. Randy is really, really, really upset that Facebook is going after QAnon. And she's saying, oh, this is communist or blah, 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 blah. Well, I got news for Randy, who seems to pretend that she's some kind of a judge. It happens to be Facebook's constitutional right to control what content is on their board. They are a service provider. They are not a newspaper. They are not part of the media. None of it. Facebook is under no obligation to put anything on their pages. If they take me down, they take me down. You know, I have no legal right to be on Facebook. I'm there because Facebook allowed me to be there. Anyone that goes on Facebook, you are there because Facebook allowed you to be there. Facebook has the legal right to put up all the right-wing, left-wing, center-wing stuff that they want to put. If they want to be all left-wing, they can be all left-wing. If they want to be all right-wing, they can be all right-wing. There's no law that says they have to accommodate people from QAnon. So QAnon needs to suck it up. It's just like QAnon argues that the government doesn't. If I quit streaming, there's something wrong with my software. So we'll stand by and see what happens here. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I think it's my recording that's doing it. Well, I'll have to play that back. Task Force deleted her message before I could read it. But she still hasn't answered the question. Yeah, I don't know. It's my software game. It has to do with my recording. No, Task Force, you are the one that supports Sharia law because you practice it. Everything you do on your account is Sharia law. You are trying to overthrow the United States of America. You do not believe in free and fair elections. You do not believe in a multi-party system. You want one-party rule. You want a dictatorship. You want Sharia law. And again, you're off topic. You refuse to say why this was not reported to the Secret Service. All you're doing is coming in here and trolling like you always do. And you're making yourself look like a freaking idiot when you do. No, they're not a publisher. Kev, this is one time I had to disagree with you because I have checked into the laws regarding telecommunications, something I happen to know a lot about. And Facebook has the legal right to regulate who can and cannot be on their service. They are not, we are individual subscribers, just like here on YouTube. YouTube could do the same thing. YouTube could shut this channel down tomorrow. The conservative part and the liberal. Yeah, the thing of it is we had a kidnapping attempt in Michigan because of this crap. And we have 2 women that are now on trial because of this crap. This stuff is dangerous. And whoever is behind QAnon doesn't care if people get killed or if people get falsely accused. I don't see anyone legitimately tied to whatever QAnon is coming in and doing something about these people spreading this crap. As long as QAnon is going to allow people like Tim Holseth to publish this crap, I don't support them. It's as simple as that. It's the same reason I don't support Anonymous, because they allow this crap. Somebody started these organizations at one time. There's a core group, and they could step in and do something about this, but they refuse to do it. So they need to be shut down. Yeah, you're doing a good job, Task Force, of evading the question. And I'll ask it again. We are 53 minutes into the webcast. Why hasn't the death threat against the President of the United States been reported to the Secret Service by you, by the Pentagon Pedophile Turd Force, by Timmy the Turd, or anyone else in your quote organization? Turd Fart refuses to answer the question. And I'm going to keep asking it, and Turd Fart is going to keep evading it. Because Turd Fart knows that there was no threat. If maybe the task force actually wants Trump dead so that they can make hay out of it. Oh, a dead guy fills out a voter registration form. That's a neat trick. Yeah, and again, you see, that's funny. This picture up here. This is funny. You guys, I don't know what the hell. This is the 2016 presidential election ballot being filled out. Where is the 2020 election ballot? Polk County. Okay, he did this when he originally lived in Polk County. So this does nothing. This is a 4-year-old picture that's just now being posted. So that's kind of curious. Where's the current? He must have voted by mail because you're not allowed to take pictures inside of a voting booth. That's a violation of the law right there. So that's the FART command. Let's go down to task force. Task force. Where's the task force? No, I gotta go somewhere else. Yeah, it's all old thing. That's a 4-year-old picture. Because the problem is, I'm waiting to see if Tim Homestead does vote in this current election. He can't. But I'm going to be curious to see if he does. Oh, here we are. Yeah, that's all there is. That's a little something I'm keeping under my hat for right now. But, depending on how he goes about it, Tim can't vote. No, he's not a felon yet. This is something it's rather simple, really. But he cannot legally vote, let's put it that way, in this election. Because, he could vote by mail, but if he does, he'll be breaking the law if he does what I think he's going to do. So I guess, we'll know that in November. Less than a month from now, we'll know if Tim Homestead voted. because this is all public information. I mean, they went and found my voting registration information, which was kind of a neat trick, but they found it because of the Opens Records law. And the same thing's going to happen with Timmy. We'll know his voter registration information. Task Force is back. Task Force has yet to answer the question. Why wasn't the death threat reported to the Secret Service? Why are you scared to answer the question? Why the death threat made against the President of the United States is being withheld from the Secret Service? Why? And if there was not a death threat against the President of the United States, why did you make a post saying there was? Why won't you answer the question, Task Force? It's a rather interesting thing here. Task Force will not answer the question as to why the statement was made if it is not true, and why it was not reported to the Secret Service. Simple question. Yet Task Force refuses to answer it. This is interesting. The more I ask the question, the more Task Force puts up these nonsensical, posts. Task Force, why do you refuse to answer the question? Why did you not report a death threat against the President of the United States to the Secret Service? Now, I reported it. I tweeted to the U.S. Secret Service on Twitter. I have called the Secret Service in 2 different offices, and I have reported the death threat. You have not. And if you remember, Task Force, when this accusation was first made by Timothy Holmseth, I reported it back then. So Task Force is completely ignoring my question. Now, those of you who are in here, I don't care if you like Donald Trump or you don't like Donald Trump, or if you support QAnon or you don't support QAnon. The simple fact of the matter is that Task Force and the High Command have made an accusation that there was a death threat against the President of the United States, and they refuse to report it to the Secret Service or anyone else. Yeah, of course Task Force blocked you, because that's all Task Force knows how to do. Task Force does not want this information getting out. So that proves my point. Task Force is blocking people. Task Force is supposed to be part of the United States government. So by having the capability of blocking anyone, Task Force is violating federal law, or Task Force is not part of the federal government. So there you go. Task Force absolutely refuses to answer the question. And, I don't know what Task Force thinks they're going to accomplish posting this ridiculous shit all over again, other than it's proving to anybody that comes in here that she refuses to answer the question. There was no death threat made against the President of the United States, and there was no death threat made against Timothy Charles Holmseth. There never was. Nobody, but nobody, is going to risk their freedom to off that useless twit. He's not worth going to prison for. So no one in their right mind is going to kill Timothy Holmseth. The death threats are fake. Period. Tim Holmseth has proven time and again to be able to create false material on YouTube. Field McConnell did the same thing. Randy Erickson has done the same thing. These people know how to create false material. They know how to manipulate the internet and everything. So nothing that they say is true. It's all fake. It's smoke and mirrors. And yet people are stupid enough to send their money. And it's all because they need money. There's people that believe the same things they do. They're gullible. And Tim makes some kind of outlandish statement and they just shell out the money to him. Just go over and look at his Patreon account. See how much money's being made there. Fuck if I know where Dodger Stone is. Why don't you ask him yourself? And why ask questions when you won't answer questions that I ask? Task Force, again, why didn't you report the alleged death threat to the Secret Service? Why didn't you report it to the FBI? Why didn't you report it to Broward County, where you claim the individual is that's on your report? Why not the Orlando Secret Service? I gave out all the numbers. They're over on YouTube or on Twitter. So what gives? You're in here asking for pictures of somebody. Why are you not concerned about a threat made against the President of the United States? Quit worrying about people's underwear and answer the question. You're supposed to be this all-important owner of the most important blog in the country and part of this government, whatever it is, and yet you can't answer a simple question, and all you are is going around collecting people's underwear. Tim Holmseth was jealous of everybody. Now Timmy is dead. And anybody that has information on what happened to Tim Holmseth needs to call the FBI or their local law enforcement and tell them where the body's buried or what lake he's in the end of. And again, we have to ask the question, why is Task Force refusing to disclose whether or not they have reported the death threat against the President of the United States to the Secret Service? Because the Secret Service has told me that there has been no report other than the information that I gave them. And they are looking into it. The Secret Service is aware of Tim Holmseth. I made the Secret Service aware of Tim Holmseth last month. And I called the very same Secret Service agent I met in Minneapolis and gave him this information. So, all you're doing, Task Force, by making your posts in this chat is proving my point over and over and over again. You people lie with abandon. You're not telling the truth. You're taking people's money from them under false pretenses. You are defaming people, lying about people, and you're trying to talk people into doing things that get them in jail. Task Force, again, you're making a false statement. Nowhere have I found in the United States Constitution in any law that says a person has to wear a shirt when going on the air. And, you keep bringing things up that have nothing to do with the questions I am asking. You bring up stuff that happened 10 years ago. I went on the air for 30 seconds without my shirt on because my camera turned on by accident. That is not against the law. Now, if a woman went on the internet without a shirt on, they may have a point to a degree. But there is no law against somebody going on the air without their shirt on. Especially since this room is restricted to people over, this is not a blog that's open to children, to minors. It's an adult-only blog. So, there you go. But again, this is what Task Force does. It brings up this weird shit because they don't want to answer the question. They made a post stating that the President of the United States had received a death threat. Tim Homseth, they allege, had a death threat. Yet they refuse to answer the question. Instead of answering the question, they come in here talking about people's underwear and about people not wearing a shirt on camera. Well, cremation's something I hadn't thought of. He could have been cremated. The fact of the matter is, there's no proof he's alive. And that's the important part here. There is no proof that Timothy Childs Homseth is among the living. And it's in my opinion that Tim Homseth has been dead at least since the 1st of June. So there. If Task Force doesn't want to prove me wrong, then that's fine by me. I don't care. Until there is proof of life, I have to assume that he's dead. So there. No cartoons tonight. Interesting. You got mail. All right, let's see what I got in the mail. Okay, know about that one. 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 And I know about that one. Okay, so I'm caught up in the mail. Oh, Agent 19's on, in case anybody's interested. Come on, get over. I don't know why that opens up over there. Come on. All of a sudden, all these notifications are popping up. Whew. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to turn that thing off. I get this notification thing. Well, I see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it on here. Let me put it up on. Task Force, why are you avoiding my question? Why are you scared of my question, Task Force? You just keep proving my point over and over again, Task Force. Sad. Nothing on her Facebook for the last 4 hours. Probably because she's in here trolling me again. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, finally. August 18th, 2020. That's an old one. Yep, all old stuff. Message redacted, blah, 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 blah. Task Force, you're the one that doesn't answer any questions. Maybe, somebody out there might be able to answer the question, why won't the task force verify that there was a death threat against President Trump and report it to the Secret Service? What is so hard about answering that question? So you're more concerned about me going to work for Walmart than you are about a death threat against the President of the United States. Now, that I think is a little weird. You won't answer the question, Task Force, because there is no death threat, either against the President of the United States or against Tim Homestead. You guys are lying. And what makes you think that I don't work for Walmart? I mean, I got a Walmart hat. And it's not, why is it a stupid question? Why, this is something I wish anybody could tell me. Why is it a stupid question to ask about an accusation that someone has made a death threat against the President of the United States? Why is that a stupid question? I would think that any supporter of Donald Trump hearing that somebody is claiming that there is a death threat against their hero, Donald Trump, would want that reported to the Secret Service. All you Trump supporters out there, and 90% of you tune into this channel, report it to the Secret Service that there is a death threat against the President of the United States. Task Force, it doesn't make a difference who I support. It is a Trump supporter that put up this article that a death threat has been made against President Trump. I am an American first, so I reported this article to the Secret Service of a death threat against the President of the United States. And I am asking you why you, since this is your Twitter account, why hasn't this been reported to the President of the United States or the Secret Service or the FBI or authorities in Minnesota or authorities in Wisconsin? Why hasn't this been reported? Simple question. It's your presidential candidate that is being threatened. Why not report it? This is simple. It makes no difference who is being supported. If I support Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, doesn't make any difference. There is an allegation that a death threat has been made against the President of the United States. He is the President. Somebody is being accused of wanting to kill him. It's been reported by this same individual that it is the Vice President, Michael Pence, that wants to take his place. This is a serious accusation being made by supporters of Donald J. Trump. Yet they refuse to answer a simple question. Has this been reported to the Secret Service? Period. And again, latest post, Task Force is avoiding the question. Of course, because task force can't. Because there is no death threat against the president. There is no death threat or attempted death threat against Tim Holmseth. Nobody cares about Tim Holmseth. It is more than likely that Tim Holmseth is dead. Who wants to kill a dead guy? You know, so task force is just doing what task force always does when they come in here. They're trying to distract from the fact that they get called out on every lie that they make. They lie, 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 and lie again. And it's really too bad. But, that's what these groups are capable of. And, now we have a woman from the state of Colorado that is going on trial because of advice that she took from the owner of this exact Twitter account. Now, it doesn't matter if the mother in Colorado has a legitimate argument or not. She got herself charged with a federal crime because she listened to people that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. It's the same thing with this woman in Utah. She listened to people that don't know from their ass from the hole in the ground, and now she is going to be arrested and charged with interfering with the custody of a child. It's a felony. She's going to permanently lose custody of her child now, probably won't get any visitation, and she is going to go to jail again. I was crying when I was in Elk River. Oh, I could afford to live there if I wanted to. Walmart pays $12 to $15 an hour. I have a friend of mine that will let me stay at their house rent-free. The house is 15 miles from the Walmart. It's a $400,000 house. So I can afford to live in Elk River. I still get my Social Security, and I just got notified it's going to go up. So, I'm portable. I can go anywhere. I don't have to stay in Florida. I like Florida. I don't like the cold weather. It's colder than shit up there right now. It was cold when I was up there. It's weird. So, you're lying anyway. I don't even know why bother responding to your task force, because you simply cannot tell the truth. You come in here and you bullshit your way into here because you're not capable of starting your own live stream. If you started your own live stream, I wouldn't bother to go over there. I'm not going to waste my time on your stream. Hell, I only stream once a week. I don't live my whole life on. Trump has nothing to do with Social Security, you dipshit. That's Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Social Security is what they call autonomous Social Security. You don't know anything about Social Security. The fact that you'd make such a statement shows that. So I'm not thanking Donald Trump because he has nothing to do with it. Social Security was enacted by a Democrat. Read your history. Republicans have been trying to get rid of Social Security since the day it was created. Well, actually, it was part of the New Deal that was, right at, during his term after the Depression. The Republicans had nothing to do with Social Security. Once again, task force is running around collecting men's underwear and not answering the question. Once again, task force, why haven't you reported the death threat against the President of the United States to the Secret Service? Well, task force, guess what? The Taliban have endorsed President Trump. They want President Trump as president. How about them beans? Once again, task force, it doesn't matter who I support or what I support. What matters is you are claiming that there is a death threat against the President of the United States, and you have not reported it to the Secret Service, and I want to know why. You're avoiding the question, which I find interesting. And, I don't know where he is. Task force, you come in here and you ask the same bullshit questions every week. Get yourself a new record or something, will you? God. I don't know where the guy is. I don't care where he is. You seem to be the one to care. This is about a 10-year-old missing child case that the law enforcement has a strong opinion as to who is responsible for that child going missing. And it is not a lawyer from Florida. It is the woman that was in the trailer at the time the child disappeared. Do your homework. Well, all task force is doing is proving my point. Task force has nothing of substance. Because task force comes in here every week and it's the same thing. It's a broken record. We go through this over and over and over again. I just addressed it, task force. I'm not a psychic. I don't know where the fuck he is. He could be on a beach in Puerto Rico somewhere. The guy is a surfer. He goes surfing. I don't care where he is. I don't know where he is. Ask the Pentagon pedophile task force to find him. You people are supposed to be third in line to the president. It should be not so hard to find out where the guy is. Jesus Christ. Oh, I think this is fun. Let's see, what is that? Peasant donut. Because task force is doing my job for me. She has proven herself to be a liar. She's proven herself not to have a brain in her head. She makes a ridiculous post like this on her Twitter account, and then she won't back it up. So I think it's great. It fills in the time while I'm on the air. And anything else that comes along. So what? Send them to Jeremiah. Say, hey, Jeremiah, here's this. It has nothing to do. I have a screenshot up here on my, on YouTube right now where you say that the President of the United States had a death threat against him, and you refuse to talk about it. Now, I think a death threat against the President of the United States is more important than me having badmouthed a dude 10 years ago. Somebody needs to find out if task force owns a wood chipper and to have it forensically examined. There are reasons that Fargo was made about that area of the country. Once again, what does this have to do with a death threat against the United States president? You're avoiding that altogether. Right? This is what's so funny, folks. So she's sitting here talking about Levi and Jeremiah, and she will not talk about Donald Trump and an assassination plot against him. I find this remarkable. She has a chance of reaching close to 1,000 people with this accusation of a death threat against Donald J. Trump, and she refuses to talk about it. So all you people that come in here and see this YouTube recording, I get about 300 hits per video after this video is put up as a recorded video. And see how many times that I have asked Task Force, which is the owner of TimothyCharlesHomeseth.com, refuses to answer why there is a death threat against the President of the United States, and it has not been reported to the Secret Service. Well, I'll tell you what, Task Force, why don't you go over and start a live stream and talk about it? You are not interested in an assassination attempt against the President of the United States. You're interested in gossip. That's where we're at this point. I find it fascinating. Man, I'm amazed that she sent. No, I'm amazed that post is staying up so long. But I suggest everybody that sees this particular number here, that is the number to the Secret Service. I would like people to call the Secret Service and saying that they have seen on this blog a post about a death threat against President Trump and family. I would like to see that reported to the Secret Service, because apparently the task force is not going to do it. Well, the bigotry of task force is coming forth. Kind of interesting, this is once again where the task force proves that she is a bigot and a racist, which is no surprise to me. I read a post somewhere where Tim Homeseth is a homophobic. None of your fucking business, task force. When's the last time you attended church? When's the last time did Tim Homeseth attended church? And once again, why do you refuse to answer the question about a death threat against the President of the United States? Why are you not concerned about a threat to the President of the United States? Interesting question. And task force, while you're at it, explain why you do not obey the teachings of the Lord. You're so big on being a Christian, believing in God, yet you don't even follow the 10 Commandments. Oh, you don't care that there has been an assassination plot against the President of the United States. Well, why don't you delete this post off your Twitter account then, since you don't care? Oh, Lewis. Yeah, that's funny, Lewis. You sit here and talk about people going to church, and you don't even believe in the teachings of God. You don't follow the 10 Commandments. Well, task force, that's partly true. I want to see the man arrested. He's committed a crime. He belongs in jail. Yeah, you're upset with People's Underwear Task Force, so I guess we're even. Well, True Seeker, my point here is that this death threat has not been reported. This specific death threat. Because all it takes, one unreported death threat might be the one that succeeds. It's Public Information Task Force, for God's sake. Yeah, I don't care what the fuck you do. Jesus. You know, it's, you know, all task force does is come in here and talks about a picture of a guy in his underwear. And this is supposed to be someone running around the country looking for pedophiles and saving children. I don't know what a picture of a guy in his underwear has to do with missing children. It's kind of weird. Selectively deleting comments. Interesting. The death threat, Truth Seeker, is on a blog, timothycharleshomeseth.com. It's also on the task force and high command. Well, I think the high command. This up here is said to be the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. So there were 2 times that this was made. The first time was June 19th, 2020, and again on the 9th by this Twitter account, the High Command 2. And there is the tweet, there is the link to the account where this happened. So you can go on Twitter, you can look up this account, and if she doesn't have you blocked, you can go to the blog in question and read all about it. This happened on June 20th of this year. This is October 10th. No report has been made to the Secret Service. So if you call that number, you can find out. Now there's the number for the Secret Service in Washington, D.C. You can report that death threat to the Secret Service. So if you're a supporter of Donald J. Trump and you want to see him alive long enough to be reelected, I'd suggest you call that number. Well, Lewis, if she's not going to answer me, why does she bother to come in here? Why do you bother coming here? See, this is the thing I don't understand about you guys. You sit there and say I'm a nobody, that I'm a liar, blah, 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 yet you come in here and you troll and then delete your messages. What are you people scared of? Well, I agree, Truth Seeker. I may not vote for Donald Trump, but nobody has the right to assassinate a president of the United States. So I, by all means, report this death threat to the Secret Service and have them investigate it. Report it to your local FBI. Call the Minneapolis office of the FBI, the Minneapolis office of the Secret Service, because Tim Homseth was a resident of the state of Minnesota, and that's where these alleged crimes took place. But I just find it rather interesting. The task force is more interested in the personal business of me and other people, and she does not give a damn about a death threat against the President of the United States. It's funny how my numbers go up every time these trolls come in here. Never mentioned that the photo Levi. That's not true. Levi's employed right now. I have no clues to the back. Well, the backstory is, Truth Seeker, is that the task force and the high command are two fraudulent Twitter accounts and a YouTube account that falsely claims to be third in line to the President of the United States, that they're acting under the orders of the President of the United States, and in some posts have declared that the PPTF is an official part of the United States government. They're all frauds. Who is whose employer? Oh, of course you'd contact them, because you don't want them to earn a living. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, you weren't around. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't called Walmart on me yet. This is the reason. Your post right there, task force, is the reason I can't get a job. Because if I were to get on here today and say I found a job, guess where I'm working at? You'd call my employer and get me fired. That's what Tim Homseth tried to do. Oh, if there ever is one, I'll go up there and I'll collect a gallon of piss in a milk jar and I'll pour it all over his grave. Homseth got fired as his job as a janitor because he wouldn't take a bath. He'd go a week without taking a bath. Oh, we got another one in here. No, I do not have a crush on Tim Homseth. Tim Homseth has a crush on me, and he's had a crush on me for 10 years. Timothy Charles Homseth is a fugitive from justice. Timothy Charles Homseth has came out and said there is a assassination attempt against the President of the United States, yet he has not reported it to the Secret Service. Now, because it's nobody's business, task force. I mean, you can't even identify that photograph. There is no link to it. There's no identification of it. You got a picture of a guy laying face down on a couch, and you have not sourced the image. You could have gotten that off the internet, and that could be anybody. task force, you do not tell the truth. And then you turn around and you redact the image. And yet, once again, folks, we are, let me look at the clock here. We are an hour and 45 minutes into this live stream, and I am the only one on here that is discussing the fact that the President of the United States had a death threat made against him, according to the High Command and Timothy Charles Homseth. And yet, at no time in the past 4 months has this been brought to the attention of the Secret Service other than by me. And I find that rather interesting. Prove it, task force. Who's the friend? You lie constantly. And once again, it's irrelevant and immaterial. It's against the law to judge somebody like that. He was not in the nude. He was laying face down. Have you ever watched YouTube and some of the things that are on YouTube? These people work for a living, and yet, they got stuff on YouTube worse than that. Why not ask Goddard? She, everybody knows why Goddard was there. She attended a public trial. She attended a trial that's open to the public. That's why she was there, period. Why is Tim Homseth too chicken shit to go to a trial on a misdemeanor charge? Alexander Goddard is a woman that is responsible for solving the Steubenville rape case. She brought national attention to it. She's the star, more or less, in a national award-winning documentary, and Tim Homseth is jealous as hell of her because of that. If you go over to Netflix and watch Roll Red Roll, you will get all the information you ever want to know about Alexander Goddard. And unlike Tard Force, she is against violence against women. We don't know that, task force, because we don't know exactly who you are. The way you write in here, you're probably higher than a kite. Yeah, Roll Red Roll. It's on Netflix. And matter of fact, I think at one time there was a DVD out. Now, if you have Netflix and you go to this link, that's Roll Red Roll. And Alexander Goddard is in that documentary. She's the primary subject of this documentary. Things are brewing. I guess Task Force must be making moonshine. Things are brewing. Oh, we have breaking news. According to Agent 19, Randy Lynn Erickson's daughters despise her and won't even go to your funeral. Huh, interesting. And the opinions of people on the chat are their own. I take no responsibility for them. But according to Agent 19, Randy Lynn Erickson has a problem with her two adult daughters. Agent 19 is discussing the loss of her real estate license. There's an accusation that task force lied on the bankruptcy papers. Apparently has to do with the fact that no assets were listed there, even though task force claims to be a wealthy real estate broker. Kind of an interesting juxtaposition. And this is public information, by the way. I look at a person's qualifications, task force. I don't look at a person's private affairs, unlike you. I also would be more concerned if I knew of an assassination plot against the president in the United States, and I would be discussing that assassination plot, not about people in their underwear. According to Agent 19, Randy Lynn Erickson's own husband can't stand to be around her. Yeah, not surprised at that, actually. I'm learning something new every day on here. That's my understanding. I understand that there was fraud and they pulled her license because of it. And I believe that's a matter of public record. Somebody looked it up and sent me that. I'd have to go find it. But according to sources that I know, there was an accusation of fraud made against her, and it was found to be valid, and they pulled her license. Well, to that, Agent 19, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And you gotta remember, I was in Elk River and I talked to people, and I found out a lot of very interesting information while I was up there. Elk River is like any town. There's people like to gossip, and you just gotta know where to find the gossip at. And that's true of that other town. Old Randy's the talk of the town, as they say. Do. Yep, Agent, that's the news that I get. That's been verified by some very interesting people. Somebody needs to find out if Task Force owns a wood chipper, and maybe then we'd find the answer to that one. Maybe by watching Fargo, she got an idea. That's possible. Oh, you talking about Tim? Yeah, I think Tim's with his sugar mama. Or was. I think the sugar mama may have got tired of him and tied him to a cinder block. Anybody tuning into this, basically what we're doing is we're talking about people that bust into live streams and troll them and refuse to talk about an assassination of the President of the United States. Well, you apparently do, Task Force, because you support a president that is engaged in adultery. And it's probably something that's going on with, or was going on with Mr. Holmseth. And you seem to approve of people having babies out of wedlock. Actually, Agent 19, I think Timmy's time was over on June. I think he's probably taking a dirt nap somewhere. Well, Task Force, your trolls aren't even worth either. You know. Yeah, that's another interesting thing to bring up about Phil McConnell, who had his birthday shortly before mine. Phil McConnell right now is sitting down in Florida awaiting trial, while Tim, if he is still alive, is gallivanting around being paid by his skirt. But the fact that Tim hasn't been seen on the air is proof to me that he is presumed dead. If anybody knows where the body's buried, they can call Crime Line and get a $10,000 reward. Because Crime Line offers tips on any unsolved crime. So here's a chance for, if he's alive, you can make $5,000. If he's dead, you can probably make more than that. He's worth more dead than alive, the way things are going. And what he did is he got Phil McConnell sucked into his fantasy. Phil McConnell now has a felony charge against him. He's down in Florida awaiting trial, and he's lost his house. And, it's just interesting. And Tim and company don't have to answer for it. At least not yet. Admiralty doesn't apply. It is like Shira. Well, if a woman under Shira law has a child out of wedlock, she's hung in a square. So you might want to bone up on Shira law because Tim has violated that twice. And it's the women that would pay for the crime. I find that kind of interesting. Yep, there. Okay, the intelligence level in this room just dropped with that comment. Well, what I've heard is that the husband's doing all right by himself, and not because of her. I mean, he had to go looking elsewhere because, she wasn't too disgusting to look at or something like that. So, I guess we're even on that one. do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Mm-hmm. How can you vote for four more years, uh, of Trump in 2016? He hasn't even finished his first term yet. Where's the 2020 ballot? Sheesh. What a stupid tweet. Oh, hi, Kennedy. I saw you've been hooping it up today. And I'm going to get... Oh, good. Got the right one this time. It's kind of interesting. Things have been rather quiet on the Western Front tonight. Yeah, there's... Do do do. Do 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 do. It's been quite an interesting night on here tonight. Jeez. What? Damn. You gotta go out and write novels, Task Force. You got a warped mind. Well, you're warped. I don't know if you've got a mind. Jeez. How gross. Ugh. Well, I hope she goes to the a press briefing and doesn't wear a mask. That'd be fantastic. Actually, she's probably off her lithium in the way she's posting tonight. Oh, you missed all the good stuff, Laurie. She's been real entertaining for the past 2.5 hours. And yeah, what's funny is over on the high command they made this post, and I've asked at least a dozen times. I've lost counts in the last 2 hours about um, this assassination attempt, trying to get an idea of when and where she reported this to the Secret Service, and she won't talk about it. She wants me to go to work for Walmart before she'll talk about an assassination against the President of the United States. I think it's interesting, to say the least. Especially the fact since this this assassination plot was alleged to have happened 4 months ago. Really, really interesting. I think you people that are supporting Trump out there ought to ask her why she won't report this. And I have posted. Whoops, wrong coop. Well, I'm going to have to do this different. But, I have reported to the Secret Service this death threat. And the High Command, Task Force, Timothy Homseth, Randy L. Erickson, none of them have reported this to the Secret Service. And this is 4 days ago, or 4 months ago. Nope, they have not reported it. This current post up here was made on Friday, the 9th, and the original accusation of this death threat was made on June 19th of this year. That's almost 4 months ago. It has not been reported to the Secret Service. I have, however. And I will be posting links to the Secret Service offices in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Washington, D.C., so people will be free to report this incident to the Secret Service. You can also report it to the FBI. Oh, that reminds me. Show you how easy it is to make money off of lies. Okay, I don't know how you find out how much he's made on PayPal. All it's got is the donate. He's got a donate link to PayPal. Now I know, let's see, Patreon. Wow, he's doing all right. Right now, Tim Homseth is making $606 a month off of Patreon. That's not bad considering this guy may not even be alive. I wonder who he has to have some way of withdrawing the money from Patreon. I've got an account on Patreon, and I know how, so I know how it works. I've only had a one-shot donation of $70 total. Yeah. So, hey, God, working for the President of the United States, this pedophile task force is actually good money. $606 fucking dollars. God. Easy money. and you add that to the government assistance he's qualified for, this guy's knocking down a pretty decent sum of money, probably living off of people's, rent free somewhere. Somebody buys it. He didn't even buy the car he owns. It was bought for him. Hi, Levi. Well, people are interested. The turd fart is asking about your underwear again. The turd fart was obsessed with you for a good hour, wanting to know all about your underwear. It's the same thing, that picture of some guy laying face down in a bed in their underwear, and Task Force is all over it, just like Astro used to be. It's funny how these people are consistent. I find it hard to believe that that's not Task Force, but Task Force came in here and said, no, it's not her. Astro said it's not her, so somebody just copied her obsession with underwear. Why on earth? It must be her significant other doesn't let her see his underwear. So, yeah, that would be two cars that she paid $4,000 for the transmission on the other car. And then about 4 months after she paid for the transmission, she bought that one. And she admitted it twice. Because she got mad because she thought Kirk was driving the car around. It's unusual. Well, Pleasant, actually, we found out the car is in his name, and he renewed the registration in June. However, he doesn't have a valid driver's license. And that's kind of interesting. And the DMV has been notified that he's driving around without a current driver's license, and his insurance company has been notified. This getting into this sovereign citizen crap again. So, I remember that. They're not going to show up. They're too chicken shit. And Tim, it's hard for Tim to show up, agent, because he's probably not even alive. They refuse to come up with any kind of verifiable proof that Tim Homseth is among the living, and I find that rather strange. Because for the last 10 years, Tim Homseth has done everything he possibly could to garner attention. And now he's just vanished off the internet. Really, really interesting. And now that you're here, Task Force has vanished. So, I think, Task Force has got to understand that things, she can delete everything she wants, but, I have software that records my chat. And all I have to do is review it, and I can screenshot all the chats. Let's see, October 7th. That's probably pinned. 47 minutes ago, we're talking about Craig Sawyer again. And that's it. And Timothy Charles Homseth voted for Donald Trump in 2016. Well, who knows? That's 4 years ago. November 3rd is less than a month from now. Oh, the turd force is back. She loves your underwear, Levi. And she's talking about herself. The drunkard is here, so she's admitting to being a drunk. Task Force, are you sure you're not Astro? You talk just like her. Nothing would surprise me. Well, Task Force is not a journalist. Well, you know, that's funny, Levi. I have asked Task Force 15, 20 times about this assassination attempt against President Trump, and she refuses to answer. She cares more about underwear than she does about the President of the United States. And I'm going to post this again. Now, this is open 24 hours, folks, so you can call the United States Secret Service right now. This is their street address, and this is their telephone number, and you can report this assassination attempt. So there's the address, 950 H Street, Northwest, Suite 7800, Washington, D.C. Open 24 hours. 202-406-8800. United States Secret Service. Everybody call them and report this assassination attempt. This assassination attempt was made on or before June 19th, 2020. You fools tried to keep field on a foreign vessel on dry dock. You know, I never understood this. When I personally went to where Field McConnell had been in a county jail, I didn't see any dry dock. I didn't see any water. So how did they get that building from one of the Great Lakes to the middle of this little town? I mean, that must have been one hell of a truck. And I'll be doing a story about something interesting that had to do with this thing with Field McConnell. I'm not done telling stories about. Well, Field McConnell is going to be testifying. He's going to be testifying in the state of Florida because he is a defendant in a felony stalking case. He may wind up testifying in the state of Colorado, and now he might be testifying in the state of Utah, as well as the state of Kentucky. I mean, Field McConnell's going to have a pretty busy schedule here pretty soon. He was kept underground. Really? Well, I mean, the jail is up on a hill, but you said it was in a dry dock and it was a vessel. I didn't know boats had basements. I've been on a lot of boats, including cruise ships, and I didn't know they had a basement. Now they've got engine rooms. Oh, you decided to come for a visit. Now, to all those that missed Amber being in the beginning, here she is again. Hi, Amber. Come on. Show everybody. Hi. Arf, arf. Oh! Arf, 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 arf. Arf, arf. Blah, blah. Oh, God. You are, Task Force. You've asked about it all night. That's all you've talked about is that stupid picture. And you said that the picture was the basis for Levi losing his job. I mean, come on, quit your lying, task force. People have been in here reading your chat, and I'm recording it. You know, you can delete all you want, but I have it. Yeah, I'd like the address. I didn't know this. Yeah, she retracted it. She's back to deleting her stuff. Oh, it's the same reason she lied on everything else that she does. All she knows how to do is lie, Rebecca. That woman wouldn't know the truth if it slapped her in the face. Yeah, fake reality. He cannot go on the internet. Period. And if he's adjudicated not guilty, that remains to be seen. And before you get your panties in a wad, task force, that's public information. Because I have the letter that was written to YouTube disputing a DMCA order. Oh, here we go with the satanic stuff again. Satanism seems to be the only thing on your mind. You must practice it, so you talk about it so much. Oh, God, this is dumb. Well, Task Force practices Shira law, so apparently they are Agent 19. Everything that Task Force has talked about is Shira law, so she practices it. Thank you. That's the Secret Service number again. I'm going to post this intermittently throughout the chat, and I'll be putting all the numbers to the Secret Service in the links of this blog once I edit it after the webcast. Oh, Chow Chows are great dogs. I love those things. Levi's not even married yet, dipshit. How many kids have you had out of wedlock, Task Force? Okay, according to Agent 19, Timothy Charles Holmes Seth is not allowed to see his child because he is a pedophile. Interesting. Well, Task Force, you care more about people's underwear than you do about the President of the United States. I find that rather interesting. And you're not talking about missing children, you're talking about men's underwear. So, I don't know what men's underwear has to do with a missing child. And by the way, Task Force, in case you didn't read, this is an open chat. No, you're the one that's lying, Task Force, not me. And like I was saying, Task Force, you apparently don't know how to read. This is an open chat. This is not talk about missing children chat. So people are free to talk about what they want. And, if we, it's like I tried to tell you before, fairly soon, a little bit later than I expected, I am moving completely away, for the most part, from this particular topic. I'll be doing things completely different that have absolutely nothing to do with missing children or with dead blockers or people that don't care about the President of the United States. You mentioned it, Task Force. You came in here and you asked about a guy in underwear. You started it. I've got proof on my blog, or on my chat here. I record the chat. And you did it the minute Levi came in here. You started it up again. You've been obsessed with with that picture for as long as I can remember. Task Force, who's paying you? Oh, I agree, Gray Moon. Well, that's what she claims. But, I don't work for the government. I don't state that I work for the government. That is. Who pays me? Social Security Administration pays me. I'm retired. Plus Walmart. Well, see, there you go, Task Force. Now you're talking about men's underwear. Well, she deleted again. Well, Christina, this is the story here. I try talking about things, but you get trolls like Task Force come in here and they steer the conversation. And, this is a small channel with 29 people on it, and there's really nothing going on. Here we go. I guess now we're going to talk about politics. Well, that's fine. You're willing to talk about Biden. I'm going to vote for him anyway. But explain to me why you refuse to talk about an assassination plot against your president. You love Donald Trump so much, yet you refuse to talk about this assassination plot. And you refuse to answer a question I've been asking for the last 2.5 hours. Did you report this assassination attempt to the Secret Service at this location? And if not, why did you not report it to the Secret Service, and why do you refuse to talk about it? I mean, this is your president. This is a guy that you want to vote for as your next as your president, and yet you refuse to talk about the assassination plot against him. And this is what I've been asking all night. And instead of getting a straight answer, I get talks about underwear. So that's where we are. Well, Task Force supports domestic terrorism. Cynthia Absuck right now is under house arrest. She has to wear a GPS monitor. She is not allowed to see any of her children. Well, task force, it's you people that are responsible for Cynthia Absuck being in the situation she is right now. So I hope you're happy. And Trump grabs him by the pussy. Interesting bunch. Actually, no. 90% of the people in here are Trump supporters. One of the reasons my numbers are down is because I have Trump supporters in here. I've been told by my liberal friends that they won't come into my chat because of all the Trump supporters that I've got in here. So the Trump supporters are actually costing me subscribers. Oh, I know, moderate. I let task force in here because I want an answer to whether or not she called this number and reported the assassination attempt against Donald Trump to the Secret Service. And she won't give me a straight answer. And I also did it because I'm recording, once again, the chat, so that if it's needed for evidence in court, it'll be there. And here we go with maritime law. So you would let the President of the United States get assassinated because you don't believe in maritime law. Interesting. So all the men protecting the President of the United States are unreliable because of some claim of maritime law. Which is a stupid thing anyway. That's more of that Pendergrass bullshit. Oh, I didn't know Alexander was in here. Hi, Alexander, if you're in here. I didn't see your name pop up. Yeah, and, you know, it's funny, Agent 19, she hasn't talked about that. Hasn't been talked about on the task force, hasn't been talked about on high command. Randy has not talked about it. Cynthia Absuck is on the hot seat right now directly because of them, and they don't talk about the case. And it's the same with this Jolly case. Nobody talks about that. It's all about nonsense. Yeah. They get these people in trouble and they walk away from them. I find that really telling. Truth Seeker, mainly what they're talking about is, I don't know, I haven't figured it out either. Yeah, task force is born stupid. Maritime propaganda. This maritime law thing is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's laughable. I guess now we're going to talk about Greg Sawyer. Oh well. Knock yourself out. Yeah, you can go with turd farts. Turd fart sounds good. Oh, here we go with this symbolism thing again. I read about that on the turd fart. Well, Gray Moon, Craig Sawyer actually won the lawsuit. Uh, Daniel Lee did not answer it, so he lost by default under civil court. Uh, oh, yeah, you'll be back. You always come back. Bye, bye. Yeah, it's probably past your bedtime. Yeah, she ran away. Did not answer the question, but I make a challenge to everybody on this live stream. Plus, when I put this up, I want you to call this number. It's open 24 hours a day. 202-406-8800. That is the secret service. And tell them that according to Timothy Charles Holmseth, that there has been a death threat made against Trump and the family in June of 2020. And that Timothy Charles Holmseth has suddenly vanished without a trace. And that the Secret Service should investigate to find out if this is true. And, do what is necessary to get an answer that the public wants to know. I gotta do something. I'll be right back. Okay, let me see what we can do here. I don't know if the guy's going to remember me from the last time, but we'll try this. Alright, we got the keypad. Oh, why am I getting an ad? I want the keypad. Okay, 1 2 0 2 406 406 8800. Okay, we hit dial. Yeah, is this the Secret Service?
Yes.
Okay, I was on Twitter today and I saw a post, and the post says that there is a death threat made against Donald Trump and the family. This is not a game. And I just thought maybe you people would like to know about this to see if you want to check it out.
Hold on, please.
Okay, now I did make a post to you on Twitter about this. The Twitter account that has this post up is the High Command 2, number 2 on Twitter. And if you would check your post to your Secret Service account, you will see that there is a post by me where I relayed this message to you a while back. And I just want to, let you know, I don't know if this is a hoax or not. The post was made by a convicted individual who is on the run right now. He did not appear in court, so there's a statewide arrest warrant out of him from the state of Minnesota. And he's obsessed with Mrs. Trump, so he's somebody you probably should check out.
Okay, hold on, I'm going to transfer you.
Okay. Yeah, my name is William Murtaugh, calling from Orlando, Florida. And I was looking at a Twitter account tonight, and it's got on that there is a death threat made to Donald Trump and family. This is not a game, is what the post is saying.
Okay, what's their handle?
It's the High Command number 2.
Okay.
And they're stating... Pardon?
Can you spell it out?
Yeah, THEHIGHCOMMAND number 2.
Okay.
Now, they said that this threat happened on or before June 19th of this year. And I made a post about this to the Secret Service Twitter account to let you people know that this has been made, and I'm just making a follow-up phone call to see if anything has been done or is going to be done about this particular claim.
So they tweeted in June and you reported it and you're calling to follow up.
Well, what they did is this was supposed to have happened in June. The post was made again on the 9th of October.
Okay.
So basically what they're saying is this blogger is claiming that both he and the President of the United States have had assassination threats made against them, and they're posting this all over social media. And they've been doing so since the 9th of October, or since June 20th. And the most recent was the... they claim to be working for Trump. They're like third in line to the president and stuff like this. But they're creating a lot of problems on the internet because of these threats. Because I've been named as part of the people that are making this threat. And so it puts my safety at risk because they're spreading this information around.
Okay. What's your last name, William?
My last name is Murtaugh. MURTAUGH.
TAUGH.
Correct.
Okay.
And
your cell phone is the 352 number?
yes, it is.
So 352-385-1758.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. 19. What's your handle?
It's MURT Witness 1. MURTWITNESSONE. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my account and I'm going to retweet that post to you because I've got it pinned on my account, and that way you'll see what's going on.
Okay. But you don't have to retweet that at us.
Okay, because you do.
We can find it, yeah.
Yeah, because I tweeted to you folks on October 9th with the link to this account.
Okay.
So, you know, it's October 9th at, let's see, what's 4:35 a.m. October 9th, 2020 is the timestamp for that particular tweet. And that gives the link to this high command, which is owned by the same person. There's actually two Twitter accounts that are doing this, the high command and the other one that I've got up here, this high command 2.
Okay. We will definitely take a look at it now. Just for frame of reference, we're not in charge of our Secret Service Twitter account. That's our Public Affairs Office.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was.
So
that's why I'm following up.
In the field office, we do take every threat seriously, and we'll definitely take a look at it and pass it on to who needs it.
Okay. And you'll find more information.
I wouldn't suggest interacting with the account that's making the threat.
Okay. And now, the author of this particular threat accusation is a blogger, and the website, if you want it, is timothycharlesholmseth.com.
Timothy.
Yeah, it's all one word, and it's going to be TimothyCharlesSeth.com. HOLMSETH.com. It's Timothy Charles Holmseth. And he has an arrest warrant out of Polk County, Minnesota, for failure to appear in court. He's part of the QAnon group.
Okay. How do you know that he has a warrant?
It's public information. I'm basically covering it. I'm an online journalist, and I cover these trials. And he was supposed to be charged with misdemeanor stalking of an attorney out of the state of Florida. He violated a court order, and now, you know, he didn't show up to court, so the court issued a warrant for his arrest.
Okay. Well, I took all this information down so that we can check it out and see what's going on. But I would suggest interacting with the account, and if you do feel like your life is in danger at all, just make sure that you're in contact with your local police department.
Yeah, I have talked to my local law enforcement about the situation,
Okay.
and my local FBI office, so.
Okay. Just making sure, because we're in Washington, D.C., so we would not be able to readily help you from here.
Yeah, well, I have the number for the Orlando Secret Service office as well, so, you know, just in case.
Their phones roll to us after hours. So.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Okay, well, I just wanted to let you know, in case this is because, this guy's going around saying Vice President Pence is trying to kill him and all this other stuff, so he's a very unstable individual, and he's obsessed with the Trumps anyway. So there might be something to keep an eye out in case he shows up at a rally or something.
That's definitely important. Okay, William, I appreciate it. If we have any more questions, are we able to call this number? Is it your cell?
Yes, ma'am. You can call anytime.
Okay.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Same to you now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I guess if the task force isn't going to report it, I reported it. Again. It's not the same lady I talked to, but, you know. Now I got to figure out why my chat disappeared. I had my chat up, and now I don't have it anymore. So bear with me, folks. I may have to sign in again in through my chat. See what we got coming up here. Alright. Yeah, I've already told them about QAnon and all that. So now it's official and it's recorded that I have contacted the Secret Service about this death threat. So now they can handle it. You know, and they, as far as the Secret Service is concerned, there's no such thing as a hoax. They chuck out every single solitary call that is made to them. Well, they already know Levi. And they know where he's at, or where he was supposed to be. Why they won't arrest him, I don't know. You know, and it's, but see, the thing of it is, you know, Timothy has made this claim about the President of the United States, and the Secret Service and the United States Marshal Service will do what that these various local jurisdictions won't do. They'll track Timmy down, because since this is a threat against the President of the United States, and it is Tim Holmseth that has made this accusation, they are going to want to talk to Tim Holmseth. You know, and so it doesn't matter where Tim is. If he is still alive, they'll track him down. You know, they should have thought of that when they pulled this stunt. Because even if it's a hoax, the Secret Service is going to want to talk to them, because they're not going to say, oh, it's a hoax, we're going to forget about it. No, they want to confirm it. So they want to talk to Timothy Charles Holmseth, and they want to confirm it. And so Tim has got himself the attention that he wanted. And so Tim can sit there and say, oh, well, I'm the third from the President of the United States and all this stuff. So, but this might take a while. This, you know, the Secret Service isn't going to go out tomorrow morning and talk to Tim. It has to go through the bureaucracy. And they'll probably find out that I've already called in about this, and they're basically going to say, oh, he's backing up and doing the same thing longer. I don't know if he's dead or not, man. If he's not dead, the Secret Service is going to find out about it, because they're going to call and say, hey, you know, what's going on here? Well, he should be Agent 19. I mean, the guy has said some stupid stuff. I mean, he's third in line to the President of the United States. He lives out of a car full of his personal crap. You know, something has got to be done about this. And if the Secret Service can do something about it, I'm all for it. You know, it's, you know, but I encourage everybody to call into the Secret Service, because the more calls they get about this thing, the more that they're going to be inclined to do something about it. Because now all of a sudden they're going to say, hell, everybody in the country is seeing this post. But what they're going to do is they're going to go over to High Command too, and they're going to look at that post. They're going to look at my post and going to see that there as well. And they're going to start saying, yeah, we need to look into this. You know, so all of us are going to be under the eye of the Secret Service. And that's apparently what Task Force wants. So. Well, what it is, Moderate, he first made this accusation in June. And High Command and the Task Force repeated it tonight on their respective blogs or Twitter accounts. And it refers back to this blog that was made by Tim Holmseth in June. And now, and I also reminded the Secret Service that Tim Holmseth reported that Mike Pence wanted to kill him, and that Mike Pence is trying to take over the presidency of the United States through an overthrow. So, hoax or not, the Secret Service is going to look at this because, here's a guy that's affiliated with QAnon. He's making all these weird posts on the internet. And, they're going to say, who the hell is this guy? Why is he making all these posts about the president? And if if he's considered a whack job, they're going to keep a very close eye on him. Carolina, what Timothy Holmseth did was he made this post up here in June of this year saying that there is a death threat made to Donald Trump and his family, and as well as to him. And tonight, or on the 9th of October, the High Command 2 repeated this story on Twitter. And so I said, fine, I'm going to call the Secret Service and I'm going to report it. And I'm going to do it on the air. I've already done it off the air. Now I did it on the air because I want people to know that I have reported this to the Secret Service. And I'm going to edit it and make a short version of just the phone call for people so that they can see this. Yeah, they're gonna. The one thing about the Secret Service is they're very thorough. They're going to investigate everybody 9 ways to Sunday by the time this is done, because we're right on top of the election, and now all this stuff is being posted. They're going to be really interested because there's a lot of people pissed off at Trump, just as like there's people that are pissed off against Hillary. I mean, we have a very, very, very divided country. So when the Secret Service gets wind of a death threat against the President of the United States, they're going to investigate it, no matter what. So. The Secret Service does not have a sense of humor. So this is gonna open all kinds of stuff. But probably by tomorrow afternoon, I will make a short version of this with the phone call. I imagine that once Task Force and Randy and everybody else gets wind, they'll probably do the same thing, because this, they did when I went to the FBI. They made a big deal out of it. So now they can link it and sit there and say, ha ha, he called the Secret Service, and they're the ones that are going to wind up getting the knock on the door. Because they don't need an arrest warrant to interview people about assassination threats. Because when they, because the lady, or actually the first person I talked to was a gentleman, and he wrote down all my information. And I gave out all about Randy. They're not going to care, Nod. Who, the Secret Service? Oh, they'll care. Believe me, they'll care. They check out. To the Secret Service, there's no such thing as a hoax. And this is a pretty direct statement that was made on a international website. They will look into it. They do not have a sense of humor. There's been people that have made jokes about assassinating people, and the Secret Service goes banging on their front door and says, "We don't think this is very funny." And it'll draw them out. So this, it was a mistake for them to put that up. Yeah, that's exactly right, Agent 19. The Secret Service, once they check out Tim Holmseth's jacket, will report his location to the appropriate law enforcement agencies. They might even, when they become aware of my interview with the FBI, they might notify the FBI. So I would say within the next month or two, Tim Homseth is going to have some unwelcome company if he is still alive. And the owner of the High Command, too, is going to be hearing from the Secret Service as well as the Task Force YouTube channel and Twitter channel. Oh, I've heard the Secret Service doing this before. They went after a kid in a ninth grader that had posted something about Trump, and they were right there talking to that little shit. So, they don't mess around. They don't want to have. There's no Secret Service agent that wants to be the one to dismiss something as a hoax and wind up hearing about an assassination attempt that was made because they didn't bother to notify somebody. That's how this Michigan thing was uncovered, because these people have been yammering away at this since January, and the FBI said, nah, we're going to look into this. And sure enough, it started at the local level and went right up through the chain to the federal level. Oh, Sabo is some idiot on the internet. Yeah, he's another one that's like Holmes says. But, they get these calls all the time, but at the same time, they're not going to throw it in the wastebasket because they don't want to take the chance. The Secret Service is probably the most paranoid organization in the world. They do not take anything as a joke. So, that was not a very smart move on Homseth. And I wanted to remind the Secret Service of that, so that's why I called them. And I would recommend anyone else to do the same thing, because I want to keep the pressure. This is the number I called. I want to keep the pressure on Homseth and the rest of this bunch, and by reporting them to the Secret Service, this may be the key to doing it. So I saved the best for last, I guess, as you could say, tonight. I hadn't planned on calling them again because I'd already called them, but I figured, well, just in case it slipped through the cracks, I'm going to call them again. And I got someone different this time. And so, oh, what did I thought Tim liked Pam Bondi. Oh God, this is old again. Jeez. Can't put up anything new. They gotta put up old shit. Oh, that's good. They'll find. He wrote the Department of Justice. The Secret Service will find him real quick. The only trouble is he doesn't live in East Grand Forks anymore. But he can explain to the Secret Service all this information he has about people wanting to assassinate Trump. So, high command, get your phone ready. You're going to be getting a phone call, and it ain't going to be from me. Yeah. I hope that recording came through. I forgot to ask you guys how the audio was on that. Because this was kind of a improvised thing with my cell phone, and the sound meter didn't look like it was too high. I can edit it and raise the volume. Yeah, they don't give you any warning. They just show up. So if he sees any black Suburbans in his rearview mirror, he needs to worry. And they'll go to the owner of Task Force 2, or the High Command 2. They'll go to that account right away. Because the High Command 2 and Task Force both made that post. So they're going to want to talk to both of them. They're going to go over and look at the Timothy Holmseth blog. They're going to find out who owns that, which I've already told them. And so, they want to get attention over this assassination shit. They're going to get it. Be careful what you ask for, is the old adage. You're going to get the attention you want now. Well, they have to go to Randy because she owns the blog. She owns the Twitter account where this was made. So that's a given. Yeah, have a good one, Gray Moon. And Laurie, too, I guess. Good night, Barry Moon. You have a good one. Come back and see us again sometime. Oh, all their accounts are quiet. Not a thing. Interesting. Somebody ought to let Dodger know about the phone call. He's free to use it. Anybody that wants to make a copy of that phone call and put it up, you're welcome to do it. Well, thank you, Marty. I felt that it's my civic duty when I see a accusation of a death threat made against our president that I need to make the call, because there's no such thing as a hoax when it comes to the safety and welfare of the president of the United States. And since the Secret Service is in charge for the safety and security of the president, that's who you report these things to. But I would suggest that you can either call them, or I believe there's a mail-in tip. But you can call the Secret Service and tell them that you read it on Twitter and give them the same information I gave to them, because the more people that call in, the more they'll be inclined to quickly investigate this. It takes, after I log off, it's going to take a while. Tomorrow morning when I get up, I will be editing the call, and I'll make a segment just on the call, and I'll put on there all the telephone numbers. I'll put on there the main number for the Secret Service so that anybody wants to, they can report to the Secret Service, they can report to the FBI. Since he lives in the state of Minnesota, there's a number that they can. Hi, Nan. So, there are places to call to report. Oh, somebody put up a COVID bingo card. Funny. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I will not be able to get up there for that, but I'm going to call the court and see about that. I think I remember hearing something about that was happening on the end of the month. So it looks like I'm going to be busy for a while with everything that's going on. Yeah, Sarah's probably going to permanently lose custody of her daughter over that little stunt. What the hell is that thing? Halloween, of all things. That's illegal. Oh, the 27th? That's even sooner. Okay. God, I thought she was talking to me for a minute. Jeez, Alex. Okay. Boom. God, this is an uncomfortable chair. Ugh. Yeah, it really doesn't matter so much about the condition, Nan, of somebody as the fact that they made the threat. Uh, they will check into any threat, regardless of who made the threat, the source of the threat, to determine whether or not it's a legitimate one. And so the thing of it is, if the Secret Service investigates this post by the high command and they find out that it's a false threat, they won't follow through, and so you won't hear about it on the news, and everybody will know that it's yet another hoax in these people. And then I'll turn around, once the investigation is concluded, I'll file a Freedom of Information request, and I'll get the results of the investigation. And then I'll publish it. It might take a while. All right, Marty, thank you for tuning in. And you have a good night. And let's see. Don't mess with ballot boxes, people. Or whatever. That'll get you in jail really quick, and it'll be a federal slammer. But yeah, that'll be interesting because Dunklin is a mastermind, allegedly, behind a lot of this stuff. And so this will be one of the dominoes that are going to fall. Okay, now let me do what I was going to do. Just making my Saturday night update check here. Going to try to, there we go. A little sluggish with the internet tonight. You're going to make me spell it out. Of course, it would help if I put in the right name. Okay. This thing does the last name first. F. Alright, we go down. Okay, nothing new there. And, okay, nothing new on Field McConnell's case either, so that's still on hold. So, nothing yet on Field McConnell. So, and there would probably be at least 30 days notice before this goes to court. So, probably, I check Field McConnell case every day to determine whether or not anything's gone forward on the case, and nothing yet. Well, we'll see what happens. You know, these people like to mess around with stuff, and the feds are going to be right there saying, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You know, this stuff is going to catch up to these people sooner or later. They keep messing around. And yeah, 9 I did. But it's a one-way communication. Because he doesn't talk to anybody. Whereas what? The trial is going to be held in Fort Lauderdale for Field McConnell. Right now, the case is on hold because of the virus. They haven't done any paperwork since the first week in August. Who did I communicate with? I communicated with the Secret Service. What's going to happen then is after I sign off the air, it will come on YouTube, and it's going to be 2.5 to 3 hours into the live stream. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the recording I have, and I'm going to put it on Twitter. And as a matter of fact, somebody's just put it on Twitter. Operation Expose and Apprehend apparently did a recording of my live stream and put it up on Twitter. So my phone call is on Twitter right now, and I will be putting up the call over on Facebook as well. Well, because I don't want, what I want to do is I want to make a video of just the phone call rather than the whole 3.5 hours. But, you know, I feel that that rather than have the whole 3 hours out there, I will just cut the part to where the phone call itself was made, and people can listen to the phone call. Now, if you want to listen to it, this Twitter account about a minute ago, a couple minutes ago, put up the call. Now, if you've got it, well, ain't gonna work. Well, this is the Secret Service again. I'll put that up. I gotta go up here and I'm gonna share it. Okay, see if I get it this time. Yeah, there's a lot of law enforcement that are starting to say they might as well. That's the link to the Twitter account where my call was made to. I haven't listened to it. Apparently there's 2 parts. The one I put up is the second. The next tweet I put up is going to be the first one. Let's see. Alright, I got a part 1. Yeah, that's part 1. This is part 2, apparently. But if you go to, if you go to either, I'm going to put this up just in case, but you can go to the Twitter account and it'll have oh well, that should be about, see, well, if this is the same one, the way it's, you've got part 1 and you got part 2, so he put it up in 2 parts because there's a time restriction on Twitter when it comes to video. So you'd be able to hear the entire phone call. And I'm not too worried about my cell phone number because everybody knows it. I'm glad somebody made a screen grab of that because that way it's up there, and then when I'll put the extracted recording from my live stream and that'll be up there as well. Okay, what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to log off for tonight. It's getting, I don't have air conditioning in the studio, and it's getting hotter than blazes in here. And, I guess I'll go have a cup of pudding or something to celebrate my 70th birthday and go to bed. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. I'd like to get my numbers up, so if you know anybody that would be interested in seeing this weirdness, have them come over, subscribe to the channel. I get up to over 1,000 people, I can start mobile streaming. I have a lot of interesting things that I have in mind if I can start mobile streaming, because I am going to be doing something completely different when I go mobile. I do have a series coming up, hopefully by the end of October, the QAnon Killing Machine, where I'm going to go through some of the things that QAnon has done that has caused death or may have potentially caused death or threatened to cause death to people under the QAnon banner. So I'll be doing that. And I've got the Mesa project that I'm going to be starting up now that the weather's cooled off. I've got the T10 project, the County project, and so on and so forth. So I got a lot of things lined up. Now, starting with the County project, it's going to be a complete departure from what I'm doing now. It's not going to be politics. It's going to be something totally different. And it was the original intent of this board. So stay tuned for that. So I'm glad everybody showed up. It was kind of interesting having the turd fart in here, making an absolute fool of herself and not answering questions about the assassination attempt against the president. But maybe the Secret Service will ask the turd force to explain herself when they come a-calling. Time will tell. So this is William K. MURT, MURT Witness 1. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.